So on OG 90 Day Fiance, Bilal, I'm sorry, I don't like this guy already. I don't like him. And what's her face? Miona? No. Bilal, Miona, what's her name? Emily and Koby. Let's talk about them today. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Debbie. I am the She in Sheology TV, and today I want to talk about 90 Day Fiance, the original, and we've been waiting for this version of the franchise to come back for months, probably a year, and now it's finally back, and I don't know, I kind of feel like there should have been a break between the last season, what was it, before the 90 days, and this season of the regular 90 Day Fiance. I kind of feel burnt, right? And you probably can guess that, because I used to do probably 3 or 4 videos a week, and now I'm like 1 a week. I'm like getting burnt out, but trying to take a break. I'm just getting past I do every weekend I do a like no social media. I just started no social media on the weekend because it gets to be a bit much. But anyway, let's talk about 90 Day Fiance. Let's start with Bilal and Shaeeda. So Bilal, I don't like this guy, and I don't like him because I feel like we're going back to the last season with the whole, oh, she's a gold digger nonsense, because he went to her country. She's from Trinidad, right? He went to Trinidad and visited, like, her country. I guess he didn't, maybe he knew her, they met on social media or whatever. And he went to Trinidad, and he went to Trinidad as one person, right? Because she says he came to Trinidad, you know, he had his Louis suit and his Louis luggage and his Gucci this and his whatever, Balenciaga that, or whatever it is that he's wearing. He's wearing all designer stuff. So he went to Trinidad flexing like he was one person, and brings her to his country and tries to prank her into believing that he's a different kind of person. This guy is king of the gaslighters. And then turns around and says, when she has a bad reaction, he says, you know, I want someone who wants me for me. Okay, so why then did he go to her country pretending that he was one, or maybe he was himself when he went to her country, right? And then brings her to the US to make her think, or at least on the first night, he took her to his childhood home. How he still has his childhood home, I don't know. But anyways, he says that the home hasn't been maintained and no one's lived in it. So he takes her to this rundown house. First he picks her up in a white panel van. I'd have been like, yeah, I'm not getting in that. I'm not getting in that van. You're not putting my stuff in there, right? Especially when she's seen pictures of his home, right? Her reaction isn't great, but I feel like her reaction is more like someone who's probably feels like they've been catfished, right? Because that would be my reaction if someone came to visit me and he was one type of person, and then I went to visit him and I see that he lives in a house that's, you know, 100 years old, hasn't been maintained in about that amount of time. I would be like, why am I here? Why did you bring me here? She's not a gold digger. She's a woman with standards. And it pisses me off when there's a difference between a gold digger and a woman with standards, right? She's not going to date a homeless guy, or she's not going to date a guy who, you know, lives in a house that hasn't been maintained in God knows how many years, because, I'm sorry, that's not comfortable, right? The same way he wouldn't date her if she was, you know, 500 pounds. If she was supposed to be on, you know, my 1,000-pound sisters, he wouldn't be dating her, right? Would you think? I don't think so. So for him to go, oh, I wanted someone who wants me for me, after he showed her he was one kind of person in her country, and brings her to his country to show her that he's someone else, and get pissed when she's pissed? No, I'm sorry, dude. That is gaslighting at its worst. And it's not fair. She's got standards, and she thought that he was someone who met her standards. And he brought her to his country to show her, on the first day anyway, that he's not someone who is up to her standards, and that's why she's pissed. And anyone with a half a brain would be pissed, right? No one, I don't know anyone who would go, I know that you came to my country and you showed off all your designer shit and you played like you were this one type of person. And here I'm seeing that you're not that person at all. At the very least, she feels like she's been catfished. And I don't know anyone who would not be pissed off. I would be. And not because I'm a gold digger, because I'm getting tired of that term. But it's not like she comes from a third world country, right? She is a good looking woman, right? The same could be said for him. Why is it that they always lean toward the gold digger narrative, right? Oh, she wants him for his money, but if she was ugly, he wouldn't want her. But ain't nobody talking about that, right? She should have showed up with a fat suit on and droopy skin and no makeup and see how he would have reacted. He would have had the same reaction that she had. He would have been pissed. So I feel like she's well within her right to be chapped because, you know, he picks her up in a dirty white van and takes her to a rundown house and makes her think that that's where she's going to live for the next 3 months. Yeah, no, she is well within her right. It's called having standards, period. Where she lives is not like the house that he took her to. And that would be my piss off. So, yeah, this whole, oh, I want someone who wants me for me, I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I feel like he gaslit her and she should be angry. I would be angry. Anyways, let's talk about Miona and Band Dude. I'm sorry, like, I'm just about tapped out on this show because these people are all the same. They were getting bad months ago, right? It's gotten to the point where you can see that a lot of these people are on it for clout. They're there not because, oh well, we're madly in love and oh, we want to be together. They're not on it. Miona and what's his nose? I'm really sorry, but I cannot remember this guy's name. Miona and her husband, because he's been interviewed before the show ever aired, and calls her in these interviews his wife, right? Both in the other language that he speaks, Serbian, and in English, he has called her his wife. So I'm on Reddit, right? And there's this big discussion about, you know, oh, he's speaking Serbian. And, you know, when he says wife, when you think he's saying wife, it could be translated to mean girlfriend or fiance. But I watched the interview in English where he's speaking English and he says wife. He does not say fiance or girlfriend. So I don't know. My hunch is that these two are already married and they're on the show for clout. Clearly she's on the show for clout, right? Then, okay, so in this episode, he picks her up at the airport, right? And she looks like a different person because you guys have all heard and seen the whole, you know, she's got a certain type of hair and a certain type of skin that she does not have when she lands in the US, right? But on her Instagram, she looks like a completely different person, right? So she lands in the US, he's got the red carpet rolled out for her, and he brings her flowers and that whole deal. But in her interview, like they're supposed to be, you know, oh, lovey-dovey and, you know, I'm so happy to be here. But she clearly is in the US because she wants to live in LA. He lives in South Dakota, right? And depending on your personality, you're gonna want to move from their country to live in South Dakota, right? But when these people move from their own countries to the US, that's the lifestyle they think they're living. They think they're gonna be living high in New York or they're gonna be living the life in LA, but that's not where any of these people come from, right? So they're experiencing a particular type of culture shock, and it's not the kind of culture shock that is normal, right? That just moving from one country to another. They're in the culture shock that says, yeah, I don't want to live here. I want to be in Hollywood. I want to be in front of cameras. I want to do this. I want to do that. But she clearly says, and like verbatim, she says, if they're not moving to LA, if she's not going to live in LA, she's going back to Serbia. Does that sound like someone who's there in South Dakota for the man that she's supposedly going to marry? Doesn't sound like that to me. I feel like she's there for the lifestyle. She's there because she wants to be a Kardashian, right? And I'm sorry, girl, I probably know 5 women who look or try to look like Kim Kardashian. Kardashians are a dime a dozen, and I'm in Canada. So anyway, he's all disappointed because they haven't talked about finances, right? These two have not talked about finances. They haven't talked about money. And I'm like, why would she talk about finances? She's not expecting that she will be paying for anything. She's expecting him to pay for everything. Why would she be thinking about finances? She probably doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Or maybe she does, and she just doesn't plan on spending it on the things that you probably should want to spend it on. Anyway, whether or not these two last, I don't care. I don't care about these two. I'm not invested at all. I'm not invested in Bilal and Shaeeda. Because I don't like him, right? And I don't think that the whole gold digger narrative applies to her, right? Even though she says, which she probably shouldn't have said, when she says, I want to see your car, I want to see your house, I want to see, like, you know what I mean? And I think that comes from the type of person that he pretended that he was, right? Anyway, Miona, and I've nicknamed her Yoko or Moko because apparently she doesn't get along with his bandmates, right? Like, he's in a band and she doesn't get along with them, so I call her Yoko. So anyway, these two, yeah, I'm not invested in them because I feel like they're on it for clout. Don't care. Goodbye. Peace and blessings. I don't care. Let's talk about Emily and Koby. So Emily and Koby have a baby, right? So Emily went to, Koby's from Cameroon, and I guess she likes to travel. So she went, they got together, she got pregnant, now they have a baby. He hasn't seen the baby for 2 years because of COVID, right? They applied for his visa, didn't come through until recently, I guess. Like, as they're shooting, it didn't come through until recently. So he's seen the baby on FaceTime, but he hasn't, like, obviously interacted with the baby. He hasn't touched him, he hasn't held him, he hasn't nothing, right? And so this is like he's jonesing to hold his child. He wants to see his son. And so Emily plans that she'll pick him up from the airport, but they'll stay in a hotel the day she picks him up. They'll stay in a hotel so they can have, some mommy and daddy time, or some, Emily and Koby time without the baby and without her parents and all that other kind of stuff. And he gets there and she tells him that she's done this. Eventually she tells him. She doesn't tell him until he lands and they're in the car on their way. She tells him that, I planned a night for us in a hotel or whatever. And he is not happy. He's not happy. And he thinks that she is selfish for planning this. Now, on the one hand, I can see her point. And on the other, I feel like, why is it that all of these women are purely about sex, except for Shaeeda? They're all about sex. And, I don't know, all of them, most of them, right? On every season. Now, Koby and Emily are about the same age, right? But usually that narrative exists between the older woman and the younger man, right? All about sex, right? Except for Memphis. And then, I guess she was older than what's-his-nose, Hamza. Anyways, so, these two are gonna, I don't know what they're gonna, in the next episode, I'm guessing these two are gonna have the discussion about how selfish she's being for not letting him see his child. Like, I would want him to see the kid. Like, right out of the gate, I would want him to see the kid. Y'all can plan a hotel night, somewhere further down the road, but this man has been interacting with his child by way of FaceTime for 2 years. The kid is 2 years old. So, there's a level of selfishness that I'm feeling from her, but I feel like most of these people are selfish, right? It takes a certain type of person to go on this show, and we love to watch it. Otherwise, like, I wouldn't be here. This channel is all about them and their selfishness. Anyways, let's talk about Yve and Mohamed. Okay. Yve and Mohamed are the typical 90-day fiance couple. And by typical, I say that because more often than not, the 90-day fiance couple is an older woman going to another country to marry or get engaged to or sleep with a much younger man, right? Yve and Mohamed are no different. Mohamed supposedly slid into Yve's DMs when she posted a picture of herself in a bikini, okay? And she says she tagged it fit body. And so I guess that caught his attention because he works out, right? They talked, back and forth online. And I guess she decided that she was going to go visit him. And so she went to his country and They hung out or whatever, and he proposed to her and all that other kind of stuff. Now, I'm thinking, sweetheart, he is Muslim, and he jumped into your DMs over a bikini picture, right? And you know that somewhere down the road, not into the too distant future, he's going to tell her that she can't wear that bikini. On this episode, she is emptying her closet of things that she thinks he won't approve of. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. I have nothing against Muslims. I have nothing against the Muslim religion, nothing against any of that. But I'm not going to find myself with someone for whom I have to purge my closet or any part of who I am as a person. I'm not going to do that, because you know that she's purging her closet because it's new, right? Like, she's looking forward to him coming here. But once he gets to the US and the gloss wears off a little bit, she's going to start saying, well, why can't I wear this like all of those women do? Why can't I wear that? But the flip is that he will now be in her country, right? In his country, different. I feel like those women go to that country and go,
well, why can't I have a whole body of tattoos and show it off in a tank top and panties in a bar? Why can't I do that?
Right? In a Muslim country.
Why can't I walk the streets in a coat that's wide open with my tatas hanging out? Why can't I do that?
That's typical, right? But he's coming to her country, and there's one scene where she's talking to a friend, and she says to the friend, like, they're talking about his age, and she says to the friend, oh my God, he's your son's age. If one of my friends was dating someone my son's age and she actually brought that fact to my attention, we would no longer be friends. I don't care that you want to date someone who's that much younger. Don't ever compare it to my son. Do not. As someone who has a son that age, don't ever compare that to my son. Because that's off limits. That's off limits. Live your life. Date who you want to date. Do not ever. I just feel like that was really insensitive. That was like, what? No, we wouldn't be friends. I would distance myself from that woman. I absolutely would. If she said, oh my God, he's your son's age, to a friend. Yes, I know, she's not saying, oh my God, I would love to date your son. She's not saying that, but she might as well be. The comparison is unnecessary, and I just feel like, no, it feels dirty. It just feels dirty to me. So, yeah, so anyways, she goes for drinks with a bunch of her friends, because she's some kind of a yogi. She says they're all yogis. And so they're all drinking, and she's talking about, this guy, and they're all asking her questions. And she says that she doesn't share with a lot of people because she gets a reaction that she is not comfortable with, right? And you're well within your rights to keep it to yourself. Me, I wouldn't tell anybody. Simply because, I wouldn't tell anybody because I'm that kind of person. I don't tell people my business. Because I don't care about other people's opinions. And when you tell people your business, they feel like that's their foot in the door to give you their opinion, right? And opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, right? And most are not valid, especially when they're giving you their opinions about your life. Yeah, this is another topic for my other channel, so I'm just going to meander away from that. But yeah, she says that she stopped sharing things with friends and family because she doesn't like their opinions, and rightfully so. Don't tell people stuff that you don't want their opinions on. That's fair. Yeah, anyway, she's cleaning up her life to get ready for Mohamed to come and visit her. So, yeah. And last but not least, let's talk about Cara and Guillermo. So, Guillermo and Cara. There's really nothing to say about Guillermo and Cara. She goes to the Dominican Republic to pick him up because they're worried that because he has an expired passport, he'll have problems with U.S. immigration or U.S. customs. And yeah, they question him for a couple hours, but it's no big deal. He gets into the U.S., they're hanging out, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's really nothing to say about those two, except, yeah, he has a baby face. And I mean, he's 23. In this episode, his brother says, my brother is, he's so young, like he's a baby. And I'm just like, girl, how can you, I mean, yeah, he's good looking, but he's 23. He's 20. Oh, no. Yeah, they're not gonna last. And I don't know, I'm kind of invested in these two because I want to see how he adjusts to her life and her friends and that whole deal, but that's pretty much it. She bores me. But yeah, that's all I've got for 90 Day Fiance for this past episode, and I covered everybody because I probably won't do another video this week, or I might, because there is another topic that I do have to do a video on, and it is about the series, but it's not about the episode. So anyways, again, and as usual, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time.